Now, at the end, or if you want to in the middle, if you have like a super huge question that you want to ask, go ahead and do that. But let's let her roll for a little bit, tell us her origin story, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right? On your marks, get set, go, Mama.
Okay. My name is Melia Lazo. I am a upcoming sophomore at MTSU majoring in finance. I did this capstone 2 years ago, and he kind of already went over it, but yeah, we only had it in one semester, our entire capstone. So for the first half of that semester, quarter, we did the essay, the writing, the research, and then the second half, the project. But you guys get, what, a whole summer and a semester for the project?
Yeah, they're spoiled.
Okay, so that's really good though. You guys can get a lot done in that. So I'm gonna, give me some patience because it's been 2 years. But I'm gonna go over my project a little bit and try to say kind of the hard parts of it. So I wrote it down because my title was a lot. Even when I was in capstone, I had to memorize it. And so the topic of everything was the problem with not enough funding going towards resources for people struggling with mental health. So first of all, I'm just gonna go over the topic for a second. Most likely, is it still you, Miss Bauman, Miss Jackson? So unfortunately for you guys, they've already been doing it for years. So your topic, they've most likely already heard of it. That's really why you want to stand out in your project and your solution, because you can have one problem, but have like 100 different solutions to the problem. So you really want to think outside of the box and kind of like, maybe you could take 2 solutions and combine them into one. But that's really why you want to stand out, because something that they've heard 5 times is not as impressive as the first time they heard it. So I did, yeah, my topic over mental health, which is done so much. Are any of you guys doing mental health? Okay, that's actually pretty good.
Well, like kinda. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, because we do usually, there's a lot my my year too. So anyways, I did that, and my problem, I'm gonna try and just speak about the project. I did a fundraiser. I'm just gonna go over the whole thing. I did a fundraiser. It was a doggy trot fundraiser, and it raised $2,000 towards, I gave it all the profits went to a nonprofit organization for mental health. And originally, actually, I don't know if you guys still do this, but we had to present our projects first before we even got approved for it. So we had to sit down with all the capstone teachers.
We don't do it necessarily that way anymore, but we've streamlined it so they get their project approved.
Okay, so originally, when I first sat down with the teachers, mine didn't really get approved to do a fundraiser because I don't know, it was just really hard to do in a very short amount of time. And so I think that that's what they were really worried about. But I was really dedicated. I really wanted to do a fundraiser. So I went with that. And just for some background context, I chose mental health because I had a friend in sophomore year who committed suicide. And so I kind of had that personal aspect of it. And I'm assuming with all you guys have a specific reason for why you're choosing your problem too. So I would try and incorporate that too when you are choosing your project, because it comes out better if you have some authenticity in it or some passion for it. So I ended up still going with the fundraiser, and it started as a pickleball fundraiser and ended up as a doggy trot fundraiser. But I had to choose a venue, and this was all in 6 weeks. So my mentor, you guys all have mentors too. Okay, so my mentor, she hosts fundraisers all the time, and she was telling me in 6 weeks, that's really hard to do. You are most likely not gonna be able to do that or put together a well-ran fundraiser. But I really thought I could do it. And this was before I knew. I had a lot of like hills on this. I didn't know how hard it was gonna be. I kind of was just going into it thinking, getting a venue, finding sponsors, whatever, fundraising. It's gonna be doable. So I was first searching for a venue for pickleball. Pickleball's super popular. I thought that was gonna be a great fundraiser with a great turnout. And the venue was the hardest part. I called every single pickleball venue, Patterson, Old Fort, this country club. Do you know the country club around here? So I'll go about that in a second too, because there's a story there. But every single place I could not get a venue. It just wouldn't work or align with what I was trying to do. Or they were charging an insane amount for whatever. So I called the country club. They were the second people I called. And I actually had a connection with one of my classmates. She knew them, so she gave me her number, and I called, and this lady was not having it. So this is just to say, like, you guys kind of got to push through a little bit, even if it gets hard, because this lady was just so upset with me when I called her. This was, I'm sure for a lot of you guys, it was my first time doing something like this, running a fundraiser and a big event like this, so I didn't really know what I was doing. And I called her, I mean, I get it, I wasn't the best prepared, but she was like playing devil's advocate very hard. She was asking me like, where's everyone gonna go if it starts to rain? But they have a building, so I kind of assumed they could just go inside, but I don't think she wanted me to answer like that. So I didn't answer like that. She got mad at me because I was just like, and then she's like, you have to figure this out. You need to have a plan. I can't present this to X, Y, and Z. She was asking me, what about the people who don't want to come and play in pickleball? What are they gonna do? But I was just kind of like, if they're coming knowing they're not gonna play pickleball, I guess they're just gonna talk and hang out. But she didn't want me to answer like that either. So she was just very mad, and she just was not having it. And so I was so close to just hanging up in the middle because I couldn't answer any more questions. But it ended, and she was like, if you wanna put this together, you need to come up with a PowerPoint and this and this and that, and ended right there. And so after that, I think I didn't touch my project for 2 weeks because I was so stressed out. I think I actually cried after that phone call. I had never had an encounter like that. And I kind of just thought, well, if this is how prepared I have to be, if this is everything, I need to have, I'm not gonna be able to pull this off. And so I did not want to be chewed out like that again, so I didn't touch it for 2 weeks, but we only had 6 weeks. So I think my mom had just sat me down, and by this point, we had 3 weeks left. And so even more so, it's like, how are you gonna put a fundraiser together in 3 weeks? So she sat me down and kind of just like forced me to research, and I did. So I started looking up different kinds of fundraisers. That's another thing. You have to be really willing to be flexible and pivot, because at first I did not want to. I wanted, they kind of said no to the fundraiser, I still did it. I wanted pickleball. I was just honestly gonna give up if I could do pickleball, but I had to learn you really do have to be flexible and pivot, and it will honestly turn out better than what you were planning originally. And so I ended up finding online a doggy trot fundraiser, which I had never heard of before. I feel like it's not done a lot, but basically I chose that, and I thought it went well with my personal reason because my friend Jacob, he loved dogs, so I was just like, okay, this is gonna work. And so after that, it was a lot more doable than pickleball, the regulations and just the logistics of it. And so I found this woman who helped me throughout the rest of the process with Murfreesboro Recreations. That's another thing. Capstone helps you a lot because you really gain connections, especially if you have if you're thinking outside the box and putting on a bigger project, you learn a lot. Like I learned how to fundraise. Sorry, I'm gonna get off track here for a second, but the entire event cost around $800, but I didn't pay a penny of it because I was able to get sponsors, fundraise, this and that. So that's another thing. You can get a lot from Capstone if you really, think of, do something outside the box and not just something easy, I guess. But yeah, so she ended up helping me for the rest of the process. I got a venue. And then the hard part was marketing the event. People for events like this usually want 2 months in advance. I had 2 weeks. And so even that was a hard part because I was like, okay, even the tiny things, I'm sure you guys are probably better than this, but I couldn't figure out how to put a sign up link on my posters where people could just click it and go to the website, whatever. So even things like that I had to learn, and it was super hard. But for marketing, if you guys are gonna do something, I made a flyer, I posted it all over social media, but I didn't do Facebook. Facebook is definitely the best place to put any of your events if you guys are gonna do something like that, or whatever you are gonna do. Facebook's definitely the best. I didn't do it, but I feel like I would have had an even better turnout if I had used it. And so I'm pretty sure that was pretty much the hard parts of it, trying not to forget anything. Yeah, I had to get, waters, I had hot chocolate, I had little doggy treats. You really do have to put on an entire event. And so, but again, I got all that donated or fundraised, sponsored, whatever. And then all in all, we had around 100 people come out, which is really good for a first year event and in 2 weeks. And then we raised $2,000. So that all went to a nonprofit, which is actually my friend's parents. They started the nonprofit, which is, I had to learn, it's like a 501c3 nonprofit, which I had to learn what all that was too. And so yeah, it went really well actually, and they all loved my project, and that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any questions or
how many phone calls or emails do did you send out? Like, if you just guesstimated, how many, like, to get it all set up?
Yeah.
How many, like,
Maybe around 15 to 20,
okay.
I would say.
And then some of those people are repeat phone calls, right? So,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
And most of them were no's or no responses.
Yeah.
So it's more likely that you're not gonna get a response or get a no. But for example, I couldn't just like email random companies. You kinda have to find companies that relate with your topic, and you know, they're more likely to help you too, so. But yeah, if you guys have connections or anybody you know too, that's gonna be really helpful, so. But yeah, you really have to get uncomfortable and make a lot of phone calls, cause I was not comfortable making phone calls and talking to people that I didn't know and asking for things. I felt like that was wrong to ask for money, but it's actually very normal, so.
And so like the biggest strength of her program was she wasn't trying to fundraise alone, she partnered.
Yeah,
And so there were people there that could handle the legal aspects that we as a high school can't. But
Yeah.
she was very fortunate to build that relationship, and that took up the school and you, the liability was gone.
Yeah.
Now she was able to partner with somebody, and that's what you need if you wanna do something of that nature.
mhm.
You said you had that rough phone call, what else kinda was something that was like a huge obstacle? I mean, you did a really good job of sharing a lot of the obstacles. Was there
Yeah.
anything that was just like, whew,
Trying to think.
that was rough?
That was the hardest, that phone call. I think probably my mentor, she really did not think I was gonna be able to do it.
Okay.
So that was a hard part too.
It is, yeah.
Because they're the people who are supposed to help you, you know?
Yeah,
And she was trying to help me.
I got
But
you.
the thing is, it was in 2 weeks. Like because I ended up wasting, well, not wasting, but honestly, it was a part of the journey having those 3 weeks and getting nowhere. And so I did really just have 2 weeks to put it on. And so that was hard, especially because, again, the teachers hadn't proved at first either. So the pressure of like, well, if I can't put this together, I'm not gonna have a project in 2 weeks. And then also after the project, you have to come up with a presentation, all this and that. And we had a deadline from the project had to be, and I think mine was actually a week. The event was a week after the deadline for the project, which was okay. They allowed it and everything, but just like the time closing in on you, not having really anything else to come up with in 2 weeks, so that was another hard part.
I mean, when you think about it, the audience she was able to create, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, if any of us can get 100 people or even 50 people at something that we're trying to present, that's absolutely amazing.
It was really cool, it was awesome. It's cool too because you see people, well, again, the personal, like if you have a passion for it, it's really cool because you see people coming and, you know, people who were struggling with mental health actually, you know, did come. And it was cool for them to be able to see strangers just coming out to support it. And that was actually part of my solution. So for my problem, I broke it up into like people with mental health, they need community around them. They need more people to show support, whatever. And then the second part was fundraising more money to do more research because at the time there wasn't enough money going towards research for, you know, new studies. It was all old information. And so I took those two problems and put it together with the fundraiser because, you know, community and a fundraiser, and we raised $2,000. So.
Very nice. And then, so a big part of it was just being able to be discouraged and work through it.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
even if mom has to sit us down and say.
Yeah, so find someone who will support you too, because I was so stressed out and so anxious. Like I did not want to open it. I did not want to keep going, especially because, I mean, now I'm more used to making phone calls and like reaching out to companies and whatever. But that was my first time ever doing it. So I thought I had done something wrong, and I thought I just wasn't prepared for it. That's also why it's really important to have a good mentor, someone who can guide you, or even your parents, whoever, just to support you and kind of keep you going through it. So.
And I tried to warn them, all of them have a bad phone call in their future. As they're, whatever project they're trying to put together, it's there, it's
Yeah.
just going to happen, it's just part of life, and they're
Yeah.
not, you know, in many respects, they don't know what they don't know,
Yeah.
but they will. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
so-
and you have to get through the first one, because after that, like, you're fine.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you're not getting that bad phone call, you probably could be doing a little more. I had people in my class who kind of ease through it, and you can ease through it, but you don't get as much
Yeah.
really from it. Like in high school, I wasn't like this 4.0 student. I really, especially my senior year, I was kind of just like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this. And it's a lot about, you know, the smart kids a lot will tell you all the time, like, oh, I got this, I got this. But Capstone, I really applied myself, and it is I don't wanna say the most where you'll get real world experience. And, if you apply yourself, I mean, I went, you know, I don't wanna compare, but a little competition's okay. But once I compared myself to, you know, the other people who were always saying, oh, you know, I'm smart, 4.0, whatever, all A's, whatever, this and that, I realized, like, I took a lot more. I held up pretty well against them, if not a little better, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's bad to say, I'm sorry.
No, you're the reason, there's a reason why you're standing behind the podium and they aren't.
Yeah, so it's true though, because you will get so much more if you'll get whatever you put into it. Like, I go to college now, and I walked out of high school being a much more confident student. And I went into Capstone thinking, okay, I'm not gonna do amazing, I'm not gonna do the best, there's gonna be the smarter kids who do better, whatever. I don't have the $4 whatever. But if you apply yourself, because Capstone is so different from any of your other high school classes, it's more like college. I mean, college students do Capstone. And so if you apply yourself, it's so different than high school, because high school is more like busy work, you know, whatever. I guess more like test, but in the real world, there's so much more than just test, right? There's so much more, like, you could be a natural leader. You could be someone who's amazing at fundraising, someone who's amazing at, like, being in a team, things like that, where you can really highlight in Capstone. So don't feel defeated, I guess, if you're not like the smartest or whatever, this and that, because I felt like that, and I honestly still look back and I'm super proud of my project. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Little
All right.
motivational speech.
So I want her to finish in about 5 to 10 minutes so we can make a video of this and send it to the other Capstone classes. I want to try to get it to them today. However, I want to give you guys a little window to ask questions. So at least 3 questions, and then after that, maybe we'll shut it down and you guys can just ask individual questions, just one-on-one. But anybody have any questions?
Yes.
How did you initially like structure your emails or your calls? Because basically you're just like throwing like this random topic that you have like a bunch of research on to this person, but you're trying to shorten it in like a small amount.
Right.
Where they get the idea, but they also aren't like, okay, I'm done reading, and then they just.
Right. So you don't want to go into detail about your project. You kind of like in all the research you've done, especially if you're reaching out to companies who already, you know, are working over the same topic that you're doing your project on. What I just said, hi, I'm Emily Lazo. I'm a student at Blackman High School. I am in a capstone research project, whatever, and kind of just put it in simple words. I'm putting on this project X, Y, and Z. I would love if you would sponsor me, donate, and then also, this is another thing, you had to kind of create levels of donations. So like level 1, 2, and 3, I just kept it to 3 levels, and when they're giving you money, you have to give them something back in return. So like, at my fundraiser, I think we had papers or a banner or something of their company put up, or we announced them like, thank you to this company for helping putting this together, whatever. So, so just make it short and sweet, because yeah, you doesn't want to be overkill, you don't want it to be super long. And just tell them what you're conducting, what your project is, they'll read that. And yeah, just send them the levels, that makes it easier. The easier the better, because if you just say, you know, if you can donate, that'd be great. They're not really, you're very less likely to get any help from that. So the levels, what I mean is like level 1, $50 and we will announce your name at the fundraiser. $100 and we'll have a banner of your company, you know, $300, I don't know, some other big thing, right? But that just makes it easier for them to respond and be like, okay, I'll do level 2, help, whatever, blah, blah. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So for your professional mentor, not teacher mentor,
Yes.
how did you find your professional mentor?
So my professional mentor was actually the mom of my friend. So I had already known her personally. What's your topic?
My topic's on bioplastics. So
Okay.
just kind of like in the almost in the parks and like recreation department, kind of like in that area.
Okay, so you could just email them. I kind of had it lucky because I had a personal connection, which in this too, by the way, one of the best things about Capstone is you create so many personal connections, because you can keep them. Like, I'm trying to do something right now. Sorry, I'm gonna answer this in a second. But like, I'm trying to, I don't know, create like a little business right now, and I need to email the lady that actually helped me get the venue, because she's at Murfreesboro Recreations, and I can still, she knows me, and so I can email her. So it's really good throughout all this to get personal connections and everything. But what I would do is I would just email, you know, and people really like helping. I'm sure Mr. Shambaugh will tell you that too. Like, people in their field, they love helping students. I feel like that's mostly the case. Just email them. Do you know anybody kind of?
I do, yes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, so I would ask them too.
Okay.
They're definitely gonna wanna help you, so. And if not, again, just email people you don't know. I know some people had mentors that they never even met in person.
Yeah.
And they were just at universities.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to really know them. It just kinda depends on how much you wanna interact with your mentor, so.
All right, one more question, then we're gonna shut it down so I can start, recording. Now, ironically, she's here, she could be somebody's professional mentor if you have, something that aligns with her project, and she's also in finance, she's a finance major.
Yes.
So maybe you have something in that regards as well, in those regards as well. Okay. One more question. Biggest benefit, moving on to college? Like, where did you feel like, okay, I've got an advantage here because of Capstone?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite part about Capstone, because like I told you guys, I was not confident. I was not a confident student going into college, or no, honestly, just being in high school, I was not a confident student. And then after Capstone, I felt so ahead of other students, and honestly, college didn't, I was nervous just because it's a new school, whatever, this and that, but going into it, you really are set up a lot more ahead. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on, this and that, just from doing Capstone, because Capstone really sets you up for success. And I think I felt like an adult, honestly. Like, doing all that made me feel like, oh my gosh, like, I'm professional, I'm a businesswoman doing this and that. So it just instills this confidence in you. Again, the more you put into it, the more you get out. But that's my favorite thing about Capstone. And I know so many people going out of high school who are like, no, college isn't for me because I wasn't a good student in high school, this and that. I have a personal friend, actually, sorry, this is going a little off track.
No, you're good.
No, I have a personal friend who felt like that. Didn't do Capstone or anything, just didn't apply himself in high school. I think he ended with like a 2.9 GPA in high school. So he was not gonna go to was not gonna go to school, but I, kind of tried to help him. He ended up going to Motlow, and he's going to his sophomore year. He's finished his first year with a 4.0 GPA. He is gonna be able to transfer after Motlow with transfer scholarships to MTSU and get a lot more cover than if he would have just transferred right after high school. So, and he had a 2.9 GPA in high school, and now he has a 4.0, is gonna get all these scholarships, right? So if you feel like you're that student where you're just like, no, this isn't for me, like high school isn't for me, because I did not love high school, honestly. Mr. Chamberlain was my favorite teacher, my favorite class, and he was a college class, so, don't feel like that. Capstone is gonna help you so much too. It just, I've already said it, I guess, but it just sets you up for success, and you're gonna feel you're gonna have a lot more knowledge coming out of it, so.
What's funny is her spring was hard her senior year,
Yeah,
because she had tasted what it's like to be at the next level, and she was ready for the next level.
Yeah.
Right then and there. And so, and I think you would agree, college is 1,000 times more fun.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
so much more fun.
So anyway, right now, you guys don't know what you don't know, but eventually you will. And so, maybe I'll, get her contact information, and we'll use you as a resource later on
Yeah.
down the road as well.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Awesome.
Okay, so stop the recordings.